trout fishing here at Tuckahoe Creek, right at the spillway in Tuckahoe State Park. And this is one of the areas throughout the whole state of Maryland that gets stocked with rainbow trout, brown trout, and even some golden trout. Most of this stocking pretty much gets started with some pre-season trout stocking in February. Most of your main stocking is going to be done March and April. And there's so many different places throughout the state that Maryland DNR really does a great job on stocking all these beautiful trout. There's areas where you're going to have ponds, streams, lakes, different areas where you're going to see a lot of the different types of techniques that you can do for trout fishing. But today, it was one of those days where Powerbait was working the best. And this is one of the easiest ways for anybody getting into fishing or just trout fishing. If you're in an area where there's deeper water, not necessarily still water, but it could be moving, Powerbait is a great bait that Berkeley has come out with. It's an artificial scented dough that you put around your hook, and it kind of floats up as it sits on the bottom. So you will need a sinker to get it down to the bottom. Now, what we were doing on this day is we were actually using two different types of power bait. We were utilizing corn flavor and garlic flavor. Now, there's a whole bunch of different flavors that power bait has out there in the market, but those two are the ones that were biting the best during this fishing trip. The way we rig those up is we use a small single hook or treble hook. At this point, we were using a treble hook, size 14 treble hook from Eagle Claw with a 1/8 of an ounce egg sinker. So we were utilizing 6-pound fluorocarbon leader from Seaguard. You can go as low as 4, and I would recommend going as high as 10, depending on the area that you're fishing. The smaller line will buy you more bites. What you're going to be doing is you're going to grab some of this power bait and put it all around your treble hook. Cover it completely, but you don't want to have a massive amount on there. Just enough to cover the hook, so it's easier for those fish to get hooked up. You will feel a lot of nibbles when they're biting it, and then you will feel those fish just pick it up and swim with it. And that's when you want to do your, your hook set with the treble hooks or the single hooks. It will work really well. Remember to carry some needle nose pliers. You will need those to unhook most of these guys. And remember, guys, also you can use small spinners and other artificials, depending on the conditions that you're fishing in that area that you're going to be fishing. Other than that, beautiful fish. They make obviously a great fish to eat. They're really tasty. And most of these places will have different regulations where you're going to have your 5 trout per day limit. Some areas might be restricted to 2, and there is areas that are restricted to just catch and release. So make sure you know where you are and what the regulations are in that area, because they do change throughout the region, and you don't want to obviously get in trouble out there. So make sure you check that out. And most of these places, when you go out and fish, will have a sign posted with those regulations to remind you what they are in that area. So get out there, guys. There's plenty of this fishing still left out there. It's just starting. Remember, this goes hand to hand with yellow perch fishing, where in this case, right at Tuckahoe, you could go yellow perch fishing and then go catch your trout when they do stocking up in the same creek. So there's a lot of cool areas like that on the eastern shore where you can do both. And then also on the western shore, there's plenty of streams that you can go and feel like you're somewhere else and you're really getting into that, trout fishery. And don't be surprised, DNR will stock some of those 5-pound plus trout in certain areas. So you are not going to be you're going to be surprised when you hook to some big like that. Other than that, that's what was working during the trip, and you guys have a good one.